Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to respectfully discuss, debate, and disagree about video games. As always, I'm your host, Caden Berthay Lane, and my one goal for today was just to trim my mustache, and I wasn't able to accomplish that. So I sure as hell am not prepped for this podcast. Shooting from the hip today, boys. Of course, joining me is the godfather of the debate himself, Jonah Gomez. Smooth brain dummy boy.
I did trim my mustache and my beard today. I'm looking sharp.
You're looking sharp.
I'm looking
You're
sharp.
looking sharp.
Caden, I also want to say, damn, you really brought it on that intro. That was smooth, man.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like I need like an audio book of just you reading off like D&D facts or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about starting like an ASMR Twitch channel where I just read D&D like player guides and stuff. So see how it goes.
Damn.
And of course, the isometric Aussie, Stephen Beaumont. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good. I my one goal for today, as it is with every shoot, is to wake up without a migraine, and I didn't achieve that. I had one in my eye earlier, but it's in remission at the moment, so hopefully we get through.
Oh, yeah, that holds out. Shoot. And of course, we're also joined by our number 4, the king of indies, Mateo.
Ooh,
How you doing, buddy?
King of
I'm doing all right.
I don't know if you play mainstream games, but I feel like I never hear you talking about it. So,
you know, it's actually funny because like right now, what's on my docket is Cyberpunk, Starfield, and Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah,
But I do play a lot of indies. Well, we've got some indie love this week for y'all.
Okay. And this week, our special guest is Secret Bonus Aussie Ryan Stanton. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'd like to request, if you do that ASMR channel for D&D, that you're reading out the I think it was the 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons manual, where they did a find replace and accidentally replaced every word of mage with wizard, and it meant that there was multiple references where it was like this spell does 20 da wizard as opposed to damage. I think that'd be really good. Yeah.
Holy crap. That is so
great.
funny. All right, folks, I hope you're level 5 and learn Fireball, because it's time for the icebreaker. All right. Our question.
That was much better. Yeah.
Question this week comes in from Discord member Randall Reborn. Shout out, Randall. His question is: so I knew nothing about Baldur's Gate 3 before buying it. Got caught up in the hype and gave it a try. Oh boy, am I glad I did. Was there any game you knew nothing about and were glad you gave it a chance? I'll toss this one your way, Mateo. You got anything locked and loaded on this one?
I've got a couple actually. So the one that comes to mind recently is probably Dave the Diver.
Mm-hmm.
I bought that almost completely just based off the little tiny teaser trailer that they had, and it is delightful. It is just it's a mix of games that I wouldn't normally get into. Like the main gameplay loop, sure, that's roguelite stuff. That's normal. But like the restaurant management and the farm sim aspect of it, and all the weird, crazy little details, normally not my jam. They go together to build something really delightful, though. It's the most wholesome game I think I've played probably in about like 2 years or so. The other one that comes to mind is original Diablo, dude. I knew nothing about it. I saw the case. I saw that cool Diablo skull looking thing on the case. Dude, whenever it released. It was whenever it released. I remember playing it.
Like teenage Mateo seeing a big devil head on a game case and be like, fucking sick.
Oh, it was tough to convince my parents to buy me a game called Diablo 2. So like it was a whole thing. But didn't know anything about it. Went into
game?
it. The butcher scared the shit out of me. It was great.
Heck yeah. Jonah, got anything?
I think we're gonna go back to something a little bit more recent, and it was you telling me about Chained Echoes, because I'm not a big turn-based RPG fan. So
you'll love to see it.
That game rules. I still need to beat it. See, I keep doing this. I've done it with like almost every game that I've played. I've Chained Echoes, Zelda, Sea of Stars. I'm like maybe 10 hours left. I know I'm less
You
than
just
that in
stopped right
Chained
at the
Echoes,
finish
and I
line.
just stopped right
Yeah.
at the finish line. I did it with the
Yeah.
Witcher
It's
3
about the
too.
journey. It's about the journey.
But yeah.
No, I've definitely done that. I was playing Octopath Traveler 2 over the summer, and I've beaten all the characters' chapters, and I've got the green light to just go do the end of the game, and I just stopped playing it. I don't know what that's about.
I stopped that for a while when Baldur's Gate and stuff came
Yeah,
out, but I'm on
yep.
holiday at the moment, and so I've got my Switch with me, and I've been smashing through that. That's a good one.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, what do you have for this question, Ryan? Anything come to mind?
So I'm normally somebody that like doesn't buy without doing their research, but I have thought of three sort of ones for this. The first one is Baldur's Gate 3, as mentioned. Like, I'd done a bit of research about it, but I wasn't sure, and I bought it, and I've been absolutely loving it. Can't wait to, when I finish holiday, get back to it. The second one is one that is a first-person shooter roguelike called Dead Link, which was just on sale. I was like, okay, whatever, like, you know, it's an indie, it just hit 1.0 from early access, and if you like the modern Doom games and the sort of combat arena style stuff from that, it's a roguelike that really scratches that itch. You know, you're going through, you're getting upgrades to enhance like your dash and your grapple hook and your whatnot, and that's really quite fun. That's one I've been digging into recently. And then the third one is one of my favorite games of all time that I knew almost absolutely nothing about, but I'm going to save that for the pitch and let you see if you know what it is.
Right.
I'm interested now. That Doom-like sounds so rad. I think Mateo and I are going to be looking at that later.
Dude, I have started doing this thing where I just write down the names of games whenever they come up during the show, just so I can go and add them to my wish list or at least check out the trailer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right, Steven, what do you got for this one?
This is a pretty stock standard answer because there's definitely a fair few launching point games where there might be like the 5th, 10th game in the series, but it was just like when it like hit critical mass, like, you know, probably a lot of people would say that about like Monster Hunter World or something. So for me, that was definitely Yakuza 0. Like I also hit up Persona 5 in that year, but I knew about Persona with Persona 4 being very highly regarded as an RPG, but I knew nothing about Yakuza before 0. So yeah, that was like absolutely out of nowhere. Like, you know, I like beat 'em up games. Like usually it's just like you want that 1.5 hour experience. When you're playing a beat 'em up game, you just want to play for an hour and a half. This is a 90-hour game that you're delving into, but like the beat 'em up aspect is almost ancillary to just the side quests and just the quirky characters and just everything else. Like just the amount of just very, very like amazing side content like you don't see in many games. Like I think of like Mario Odyssey as being a game that has a lot of optional stuff and like so much meaty stuff, kind of like similar to like It Takes Two. Like it just keeps changing the gameplay all the time. But yeah, Yakuza 0 was awesome. Like it, you know, I haven't gone and just deep dived on the series, but that one experience, I was like, amazing characters, amazing looking game, and it just played like a dream. Awesome.
Awesome, yeah, absolutely. Man, I wish I had like an entire year of just like being locked in a padded cell to just play the entire Yakuza series. As for myself, man, I'm having just a brain fart right now. What is the arcade game with the little ball that you're flicking around with the
Pinball?
paddles?
Pinball?
Yeah, I can't remember I know it's not pinball. You guys probably have heard of this game, Yoku's Island Express.
Oh, yeah.
It's like AD. It's like a pinball adventure game, like pinball Metroidvania, and you play a little like dung beetle, and the pinball is like his little, you know, rolled up dung ball or whatever, and that's what you're flicking around. And you know, all of the like stages that you're like platforming through are like puzzles where you just need to, you know, hit the ball around. And like, man, that just on paper, you know, I never really played pinball growing up or anything, and I just took a chance on that game because I had such good reviews, and that was a super fun game. I need to replay it sometime. Highly recommend.
Yeah, that was almost one I chose, and that's like short as well. It's one of those perfect games that's like, if you really wanted, you could knock out on a weekend.
Like, chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good. Shout out Yoku's Island Express. All right.
Mm.
Well, in order for our listeners and ourselves to get to know you a little better, Ryan, we're gonna put you in the hot seat. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your, history as a gamer and a little bit about what you do for work, and we'll open up the floor to the other panelists for any questions they may have.
Yeah. So briefly, like history as a gamer, I'm the fourth boy in a family of 6 kids, and then there's 2 girls underneath me. So I was like, games from a young age are, as always, partly defined by what the elders were playing.
Fair enough.
My earliest memory of games is accidentally deleting the Donkey Kong Country 2 save file that we had on the Super Nintendo,
And that
and
to
having
their
the brothers get
siblings.
real pissed at me.
Oh,
He's
my
the
God.
one, boys. Get
One
him.
of my favorite games. And like I play almost anything. I sort of ended up being like, out of the 4 boys, one of us was PlayStation, one of us was Xbox, one of us
that's
was
so funny.
actual sports, and then I was like the more Nintendo focused one.
Nice.
But I do play anything. And like that's something that has just sort of been with me all throughout life, and it's kind of led to where I am sort of like working quotation marks
Mhm.
In that I'm studying a PhD at the moment, and I'm
Mhm.
looking at and this is how I met you guys, I'm looking at gaming podcasts in my PhD because like I think it's a really interesting example of the ways that people are using like new media, digital media, online stuff, right, to like make a living and make a career. And so I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at hobbyists, but yeah, like that's just my research is what's the deal with gaming podcasts?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very, very
So-
cool. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just curious, like what avenue of like university is that? Like, is this a psychology thing? Is this
Good question.
like like what area of study were you in?
So I'm at the University of Sydney, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Arts, Communications and English, and then like Department of Media and Communications. And within that, I'm sort of in what we call like digital cultures, which is just like a lot of social media, new media, like online stuff as opposed to some of the more traditional media. But yeah, like the School of Media and Communications and digital cultures are pretty mixed. But yeah, it's like I studied for my undergraduate a Bachelor of Arts Media and Communications, which is basically journalism. It's kind of what the UCID has is like journalism. So you do, introduction to video and whatnot.
I now have
See,
a
Mom,
new tag.
my
for
Bachelor of
Twitter.
Arts means something.
I now have a new Twitter tag, and it's going to be digital culturist, and I'm
There you
going to put
go.
that on there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
No, that's really cool. It's so interesting to see like, the internet and like social media and, digital forms of like art and entertainment starting to now be like recognized as important to culture and studied. It's like for decades or centuries we've been studying like traditional art and things, and now it's like, oh yeah, this whole podcasting stuff and like video games are like, part of play and like socialization. It's very interesting.
It's always fun to explain because like a lot of our generation and stuff very switched onto it, some a little bit less so, but especially when I'm talking to like my grandparents or my parents and their friends sort of thing, it's like, all right, normally it's like podcasts, they've got that, but then when they're asking more and they're like, so what, like how do people make money from this, it's like, well, do I have to explain Twitch to you? Do I have to explain Patreon to you? Do I have to explain why you should subscribe to the Great Game Debate on Patreon?
Oh, look at this guy.
Do I have to do that stuff, and so like it's always interesting to see like what level people are at and how can I relate it to things that they do know. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting when the oldest people alive on the planet were people that were like gamers growing up, so we don't have to keep like explaining this. It's been so weird for me.
You'll have to have like the new like full body VR suit explained to you. Of like, I don't understand why I need the thing in the back of my neck like the Matrix to make this work. Like,
I mean,
what happened to regular
we
VR?
already have like 40-year-old dudes that are like, why can't they make games like they used to?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
That's a hilarious thing about like, you know, boomer ideology and stuff. Like, you know, my wife's a teacher, and just like, you know, the absolutely naive stuff that comes out of a boomer's mouth, like, oh, why don't they just teach reading and like maths and stuff anymore? And it's like, dude, they're literally teaching kids coding at school, like something that was just like way beyond my scope when we were at school. Like, you know, we learned to do Flash animation, like, was our highest like achievement in like media, and I did a stop motion film, and it's like, but like actually coding games and stuff is like accessible at a primary school level is just crazy. It's like, don't worry about the kids and their maths; they're fine.
Yeah. But Steven, counterpoint: why aren't the kids learning cursive anymore? Like, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. What you know? What I got when I used to run a liquor store, we'd get some dickhead come in and be like, I'm buying all this stuff here, I'm gonna put it on check. I'm like, we don't take checks. It's not the 90s anymore. You kids, you just don't know anything. I can't believe. It's like, well, you obviously don't know how to get a fucking credit card. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, when I used to work at the grocery store, that was the thing. Like, elderly folks coming in with checks was just like the biggest pain in the ass, and like none of the newer cashiers like knew how to handle it, and I always had to come over and do it for them. But
nowadays places just don't take cash, even sometimes.
Right?
Digital. Oh, digital.
I mean,
so bizarre.
When Mateo and I were at PAX, I think we found one place at PAX that actually took cash. Everywhere's all digital or tap to pay or card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is super weird. I remember like, you know, maybe like my parents and some like older you know, role models in my life growing up talking about, you know, being so wary about everything moving digital, and you need to stay off social media because it's just going to like rip all the information about your life. You're not going to have any privacy, and like all that stuff has come true, and it's just normal.
It's true. We just don't care.
It's so strange. Yeah. But I'm so curious, Ryan. I think about it a lot, how, you know, difficult it is for seniors currently to deal with more newer technology. You know, like I have a great grandfather who has a smartphone, but like he can't like figure out how to text or like video call on it. Like it's such a hassle to talk to him. And I wonder if us growing up in the generation we did, where we were exposed to like, you know, more digital technology and the internet, like is that going to make us, when we're like 60, 70, 80, like more accepting and understanding of like when they come out with like the, you know, protein soup bath that you sink into to like drop into like virtual reality or whatever, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I totally get that. Or are we gonna be like, that doesn't make any sense, bring back analog consoles? Or you know,
I mean, like maybe, I don't know, but the thing I would do is I would reference, I had an 80th birthday party for one of my grandparents sort of this weekend, and they were talking about like growing up and everything, right? And it was like, well, cars weren't common like when they were growing up and where they were living, right? And you know, that is a technology that they have, like, you know, was new and revolutionary, but is now commonplace, and they have grokked. So I imagine that they'll be like, you know, all right, yeah, the protein bath is all good, but like the Elon Musk Neuralink chip in the brain is maybe a bridge too far for us, right? I mean, that's a bridge too far for me already. So I don't imagine
are just gonna be these brain implants in. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody's got a brain implant.
All of the cyberpunk implants. I want a robo arm. I want to be able to.
And he's gonna get all the janky broken shit when it comes out.
You're gonna go full cyberpunk edge runners.
Sorry, great game debate.
As long as it's not. Sorry.
Sorry, great game debate. Jonah couldn't join us today. He had a firmware update that just threw his entire body out.
Yeah, his brain just stopped working.
On the show.
And yeah, Caden, in terms of like, are we going to be more accepting of change? It's like, not to get political, but if you look at the voting by age range, you'll notice that there's a certain demographic that doesn't seem to like change, and it's not us.
Yeah, good point. All right. Well, yeah, all this stuff's very fascinating, right? It's very cool to hear that, people are now studying digital and internet and electronic stuff, how it relates to people, in terms of like anthropology and socialization and stuff. Do you guys have any last minute questions for Ryan before we move on?
I did earlier, and it's gone.
He's forgotten.
I've got one, Ryan. Are there digital archiving efforts that are being taken? Because if things on YouTube are part of like they're culturally important, they could vanish at any point, right? Like someone's channel could get shut down. They could delete all their videos.
Preservation.
So what is the academia response to preservation of things of that nature?
Am I really buying my games?
No,
unfortunately not. Look, I'm a Destiny fan, and they deleted half that game, so yeah, I'm well aware of that. But to answer your question, Mateo, like, yes, there is stuff like this. I can't necessarily speak too much to games, though. There's like the Video Game History Foundation, I think it is, Kelsey Lewin and Frank Sfeldy, and those doing great work there. In terms of podcasts, the one I'm aware of is, and I can't remember everything about this, but as part of a academic book that was released called Saving New Sounds, which was an edited collection edited by Jeremy Wade Morris and a few others.
What a good name.
They did, great name. They did a thing, I can't remember what it was called, but that if you read that book, they reference they've made like a big podcast database as part of that project, and it like archives everything. And then just like individually, there are other projects like this. Waypoint Radio, now Remap Radio, when Waypoint shut down. Like, I'm in that community a lot. Like, that's one of my favorite gaming podcasts, other than this, of course. And so like in their Discord, there was like a massive effort of like not just archiving the episodes, but like, oh, all right, here's the Twitter clips that have been shared of the episodes. Like, can we make sure that we preserve them as well? So there are people out there doing it. And there are some sort of like bigger efforts, but I'm not sure like how like connected they all are, sort of thing.
Man, that's such a daunting task. I wonder like just like how much data like per second is being uploaded to the internet. Like, it just seems like an insane.
That's just like the whole like thing about QA and stuff in video games, and it's like on launch day they get 1,000,000% more QA done by the launch crowd than because they might have 150 people trying to break their game like every day as they're developing it, and that is nowhere near the footprint of the 2 million people that buy this AAA game on day one. Like,
but why can't they make the games good like they used
to? Game no good, lazy dev.
And before I forget and let it slip any further, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons from Patreon. Thank you so much to Dan Giesland, Pucho, Wes, and Dakota Falk for supporting us. Your $1 a month go into a little pool so we could do giveaways to the community, so it just goes right back into strengthening the community. And just thank you so much for your support. All right, with that, I guess I'll turn things over to the judge, Jonah Gomez, for the debate.
We're back for the debate, and we might be rolling some dice on this one. We have Ryan representing Bards versus Caden representing Paladins in this all-out D&D character battle for our debate today. Mateo will be our assist trophy today, but Mateo's not just our assist trophy today. Mateo, I'm going to pass it over to you real quick.
Thanks, Jonah. So, as y'all know, if we're rolling initiative, we need to figure out what your dexterity bonus is to your initiative.
Oh, no.
So, we have some... I've got some questions for y'all. First off, Ryan, Caden, are you both humans?
No.
Yes.
Ooh, that's unfortunate for Caden. He's losing that +1 human bonus. What is the last sneaky thing you did, Ryan?
Walked past 4 bedrooms to go to the toilet last night when people were sleeping.
That's pretty sneaky. Caden?
Well, hold on, follow-up question. Did anyone wake up?
Ooh,
No.
yeah. We'll count it. That works.
Okay.
Caden?
I got up at 8 in the morning this morning, which was like 3 hours before my wife got up, and so I was able to like play 3 hours of video games like without my wife even knowing I was up.
That's very sneaky. We'll count that for sure.
Yeah,
Kit?
I think that's got me beat. If I'm being honest. Ryan,
can you do a cartwheel?
Successfully?
Yes.
Maybe. I have been able to do a cartwheel in the past. I'm not sure if I can right now, and I'm not going to go check.
We'll count it. That works for me. Caden, same question.
Unequivocally and confidently, no.
Same. I feel that, dude. And I think we need to have a race. Like being dexterous is all about like your speed, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So rather than having a foot race, because that would be impossible, y'all are on opposite sides of the world, basically. We're gonna do
Get to my
race.
house first.
To the North Pole.
We're gonna do a nice old-fashioned Twitter race. So starting now, the first person to post a selfie up on Twitter with the hashtag GGD will be the winner.
Ooh, I like that.
I need to allow my thing to access my. I'm not winning this. I'm not winning this.
Could very well be neck and neck. Who knows?
Post. Camera.
I'm
Take a picture.
reloading.
Continue.
Posted,
Yeah.
I think.
No,
I
stop.
think. It was a GIF.
Loading.
It was a GIF
Yep.
selfie. But
Stop.
Oh man.
Oh,
Ready?
I think
It's even better.
Ryan got that.
Man, I also had to allow my Twitter.
Oh yeah. Caden's
I've never posted a GIF, but I didn't even know that was an option.
I went post and it didn't give me the option for photo. It was just like GIF. And I'm like,
Yeah.
sure.
Caden, I
this will be
still
even
need
more
you to post
humiliating.
something on here so I can have it for the video.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Oh,
did you post it?
Oh, okay.
Come on.
No, I gave up because
Oh my
Ryan
God.
won.
Oh my god.
One thing I want to ask about the other stealth check for Caden. Have you learnt the 0G put down yet? Like, without waking the baby? Like, that is like...
No. Yeah, I have to
No.
keep him in a boppy, and if you move him even any little bit, he just starts screaming, and it's like, God.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Jonah,
that's the other part that makes your stealth check even more impressive is the baby, right? Like, you're like, oh, I didn't wake the wife. Like, you've got the baby there as well.
Well, I also have to admit that we have a memory foam mattress, so like he can't feel me move off the mattress at all. So it's like having a magic item that gives you like a stealth bonus.
here, Jonah. By my calculations, we're giving Caden a +2, and we're gonna give Ryan a +3 to his initiative.
Ryan, this is a. Do you have a D20 with you?
I have an app that I use when I'm traveling.
Okay. Caden, do
I
you
don't
have
have
a
an actual
D20
D20.
accessible?
I have a digital D20 accessible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if you'd like, I could be your digital D20 and I can roll for you if you want.
yeah.
But we are rolling initiative, so let me know.
Better than trusting a bunch of liars on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got a D20, guys.
Isn't it sad that I'm like a professional DM doing it for years, and it's like because of just the online age, like
Do
all
you
my
not-
D&D is
wait.
done digitally, and I don't even.
Do you
I have
not-
dice. They're just in a container, in a box, in a closet.
Okay. I was like, do you not own any dice?
Damn, he's a closet DM.
Yeah.
Shame.
So I rolled on my app to test. I'm not sure if we want to take it or not because that's not a great one. It's reverse.
Was it test? Test roll. Put it in the dice.
Test roll,
preview.
test roll.
We'll do
Yeah,
test
yeah.
roll. Okay. Caden, will you roll initiative?
Okay. See if I can bring my camera around.
Ooh, a little house tour.
Ooh.
See that? I got an 11.
Okay, so Caden got a 13 for initiative.
Pretty average.
Ryan, you need to roll
Yep.
a 10, or sorry, you got to roll an 11 or higher to beat him.
Well, I rolled a 10.
We have a tie!
Which puts us equal, but D&D rules dictate that if there is a tie, whoever has the higher initiative wins. The higher dexterity bonus
score.
So
Okay, so
what is your dexterity score, Ryan?
He has a +3. You have a +2.
No, that's his bonus. What's his dexterity score? Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, his would be higher anyway because
he would be sitting at a 16 or a 17 according
to 14 or 15. Yeah,
to my player's handbook that I've got here that I'm referencing.
All right,
got the expert on deck.
Ryan, as the winner of this roll-off, you won an initiative. Would you like to start or close the debate?
I like to close, actually.
Oh, okay.
Preparing a spell?
As a reaction after my turn.
Okay. All right. Holding your action. I love that. All right. Hayden, you have 2 minutes on the clock.
Have we said what the debate is?
Yeah, it's...
It's just been so long. Should we remind the...
okay. We've got Ryan representing Bards again, and Caden representing Paladins in a D&D characters debate. Caden, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Mateo is an assist trophy. Let me know when you'd like to use him. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Unfortunately, Caden was called away to an alternate dimension for an interstellar conflict, but I am his blood brother, Hank the Paladin. I just wanted to educate all of you would-be D&D players about everything that is amazing and powerful and superior about Paladins. First, I would like to shatter your expectations that Paladins are goody little two-shoes. That's right. You can be what is referred to as a Hell Knight, a paladin of conquest that serves the devils of Avernus. By coincidence, that is what I, Hank the Paladin, am. Would you like to know the tenets of paladins of conquest?
Absolutely.
They have Our first tenet is to douse the flames of hope. It is not enough to merely defeat an enemy in battle. Your victory must be so overwhelming that your enemies will fight. Their will to fight is shattered forever. Our second tenet is to rule with an iron fist. Once you have conquered, tolerate no dissent. Your word is law. Those who obey it shall be favored, and those who defy it shall be punished as an example to all who might follow. Our final tenet is strength above all. You shall rule until a stronger one arises. Then you must grow mightier and meet the challenge, or fall to your ruin. These are the tenets you must uphold to join the ranks of Bel's Hell Knights in the Forges of Avernus. Let me tell you the next most amazing thing about Paladins. They have the ability to channel the divine power of their god into an almighty divine strike that is the single most highest single damage strike in the entirety of Dungeons & Dragons. If you want to kill something in one hit, you become a paladin, and by God, you smite your enemy and hope for a crit. I see the rest of my time.
Leaving 5 seconds on the table. Wow, it is, that was fantastic. It is nice to meet you, Hank. Welcome to the debate. I'm glad you've taken over Caden's body through divine measures or whatever. Ryan, as our bard, it is your time to go. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Well, look, Hank raises some great points about paladins, but I think ultimately the issue with paladins is that there is, yes, you don't have to be a goody two-shoes. You can be a bad person. You can be a conqueror. But you're still very restricted in terms of the stories that you're telling with paladins. There's a couple of core archetypes, goody two-shoes, conquest, oathbreaker even you might have, right? But they're all stories about you and your relationship to a higher power, and oftentimes that ends up going in very specific ways. The bard is the jack of all trades, but not the master of none. They're the master of fun. They have so many different options that you can have in what you're doing, both in terms of combat and in role-playing and everything. And, I can go into heaps of that sort of stuff later. But, to use an example, I've been playing a bard in Baldur's Gate 3, which is what sort of inspired this. In Act 2, I can count at least 4 different times I did not have to do a fight that I was meant to do because I could just talk my way out of it, right? If we're talking about who would win a debate, a bard would definitely win the debate because they are the ones that talk. And sure, like channeling divine power to kill somebody in one hit is great. Even better to A, not have to fight them, or B, literally cause them irreparable psychic damage by mocking them so bad, right? Vicious mockery, greatest spell in the game. That's the bread and butter of bards, right? And also, in terms of that, you have so much utility in what your spells can do. You can do, like, Shatter, which is another classic. You can do support. You can, like, play a little flute and help out your teammates, right? It's everything. Everything you want is all in Bard, and I'm going to see the remainder of my time as well here.
Awesome. Leaving 10 seconds on the table. What an opening. Holy crap. That was fantastic.
I dig this a lot.
I do too. Mateo, going into our second round, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that me as an assist trophy is just actually going to take away from this debate.
That is the idea.
Yeah, there's 3 rounds.
How do you feel about going no assist? Because I don't think I can top any of the knowledge on display here.
It's too late, Wizard Mateo. I have already made my way to the Dimple of Bell to commission a cleric to cast a teleportation spell to whisk you away to my realm to support me.
I guess that's fair, Hank.
All right, Hank, does that mean you are starting with Mateo as for your rebuttal?
It sure does.
All right, Mateo, you've got 30 seconds on the clock. Hank, you'll roll right into it. Please defeat your enemies.
Hank is ready.
3, 2, 1, debate.
I am not actually a real person in the world of D&D, but I have played a couple of D&D games, and I will say, to Hank's point, bards are kind of the worst. They are the person in your party that is going to try to fuck everyone. They're gonna try to have sex with everyone.
Seconds.
They may be the masters of fun, but they are only about fun for themselves. And I would maybe it's more useful to go around with like someone that's gonna divine smite their way out of problems rather than someone that's gonna roll that natural 1 on a conversation and get you directly into battle that you're not trying to get into.
I pose my judges one simple question. How can your enemy debate you if they are dead? Furthermore, a paladin has the ability to wield the heaviest and most devastating of weapons, as well as the heaviest and most protective of all armors. That's right. Heavy armor, full plate mail, great swords, mauls. Puny bards have no reason at all to pump their strength stat. And of course, they have not even proficiency with anything more heavy than pathetic light armor. They cannot defend themselves from my mighty 2d6 plus 2d6 plus with probably like a +3 damage bonus. And if I'm lucky, a +1 to hit and +1 damage because my god has seen fit to bless me with a divine sword with a +1 magic bonus. No. Mods know how to do anything other than to annoy their opponents and play their pathetic little instruments and hit things with a ridiculous 1d8 rapier that probably isn't even +1. I see the rest of my time.
That probably was just fucking brilliant.
I just want to say, not part of the debate or anything, but I want to compliment Hank on his orating skills here. The ability to see the rest of his time consistently, very, 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 very well schooled in debating.
Hank leaving 35 seconds on the table. Ryan, would you like to start or close your this round of the debate with your assist trophy?
I might close my round with the assist trophy because I do want to start by rebutting some stuff there.
You have 2 minutes on the clock. I'll keep the clock. I'll keep the extra 30 seconds on the clock. So if you want to use them, you can use them.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, debate.
Alright, so 100% true, Hank. You would crush me like a fly if we were in an actual fight 1v1, right? But the Bard never travels alone. It's never 1v1 because they understand that one of the core tenets of D&D and one of the core powers in D&D is friendship and fun. And yes, sometimes that might involve goofing off a little bit and, causing a little bit of mischief for the party, like Mateo was saying. But that's part of the enjoyment of D&D. That makes D&D better if we're talking about it as a game as well as, like, the world you're inhabiting, right? Some of the most fun stuff is, how can I absolutely screw with the DM, right? As a DM myself, I hate it, but it's so fun to see people like bards doing that, right? And it's also so great to see them, like, going out of the way and doing, like, a big performance and everything, and just, like, hitting those absolute high moments in terms of that stuff. In terms of the sort of, like, party as well, right? Like, they fill in my gaps, and I support them, right? I can have a paladin, and my paladin is even better because I've given them bardic inspiration. There's a reason that when they made a D&D film, the main character was an amazingly charismatic bard, right? Because they are the linchpin of the party, they are the quintessential D&D character, and they can do so much, and they're so fun, and, as that movie also shows, they're the perfect opportunity. Sometimes you just want to play a funny little goofy guy. And bards, perfect to be the funny little goofy
30
guy.
seconds.
I'm going to tag in my assist trophy to finish me off here.
All right, you got 30 seconds, Mateo. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. Hank is cool and all, but he is not as much fun to play with in the party as a well-played bard. That paladin, he's going to get out in front. He's going to take all the fun out of combat. You're not going to kill anything. Hank is murdering everything on the field, and you're just losing your chances to show off some of your really cool bard skills and bard spells. Hank is great in combat. The rest of D&D, weak.
Time. You have 20 seconds. Ryan, would you like to use your
yeah, I would also just follow up by saying that the other thing about combat is you can't smash me if you can't hit me. I have access to spells like invisibility or charm person to make you not want to hit me anyway, right? Like, that's great stuff as well. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, leaving 5 seconds on the table. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, we're going to go into our final round. Hank, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Let's bring it home. 3, 2, 1, debate.
You want to talk about the power of friendship, Ryan the Bard, if that is your real name? Yes. Paladins are the leaders, the ralliers of the party. A party is not complete without the paladin. A paladin is capable of projecting a divine aura of protection, that gives up bonuses to all of the saving throws of their allies so that nothing can hurt them. So you see, we are untouchable by attack rolls due to our high armor class from our heavy armor, and we also are untouchable when it comes to saving throws from area of effect spells and other such things because of our aura of protection. Not only that, due to our ability to cast a vow of enmity, we can force our enemies to attack us specifically, making us the perfect tank. And finally, paladins gain their divine magic from their charisma, which means that we are very, very charismatic, handsome, and personable. We can also solve encounters not only by exploding someone's head with a well-placed divine smite, but we may also intimidate our foes with our charisma to get them to leave our allies alone, target us, or avoid a fight altogether, though a paladin of conquest would never do such a thing because that would be weak and cowardly, and strength rules above all.
30 seconds.
What is there left to say about paladins? You should be a paladin. Bell's Forge wants you. Open a portal to the Plains of Avernus and join the Blood War. Tell him Hank sent you and I'll get a commission. I see the rest of my time.
Leaving 10 seconds on the table. Fantastic, Hank. Ryan, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Let's close this thing out. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So, I want to spend most of my time rebutting some of the stuff you've said there. Firstly, right, like, you said somewhere the party isn't complete without the Paladin. To go back to the D&D movie, Paladin appears in the middle of the film.
disappears, and they still win. They don't need him. Paladins are not essential, right? Secondly, sure, you can create an aura of protection and everything. We can help out pretty good too, right? Why force somebody to attack you when I can, again, use the best spell in the game, insult somebody and make their attack against my allies worse and less likely to succeed, right? I can do that, right? I might not get divine power from a god, but in terms of role-playing and stuff, the bard archetype, there's nothing that says I can't also have an interesting relationship with a god and a faith and a religion that my character believes in, right? So that also exists there, right? And this is why, like, I'm saying the bard is the quintessential D&D class, because it can do all of these things. It might not necessarily do them as deep as you want, but it allows you to mix and match. You're essentially multi-classing into different things without actually needing to multi-class. Oh, the other thing, also, charisma as a spellcasting modifier, like, you're talking to the kings of charisma. The bards are the charisma class, even more than, like, you know, rogues are kind of that as well oftentimes, but, like, the bards are the charismatic people. In Baldur's Gate, right, which is D&D rules, I'm rolling, like, plus 12, plus 16 on, like, every, seconds. Like, intimidation and everything roll, right? Damn. They're all about that performance, like, you can't beat us if you're in a challenge of charisma. So yeah, like, bards are great for role-playing, flexible for combat, and, you know, just the quintessential D&D class that really brings a party together and raises up the game to the next level. I see the remainder of my time.
All right, leaving 5 seconds on the table. Good lord, this was a debate. Oh, man. I'm going to pass things over to Steven. What'd you think of this one, man?
I've written down some hits and misses. So obviously, one thing I've got to ask Hank. One thing I've got to ask Hank.
Out for the last 20 minutes, guys.
Hank's gone. Damn.
It was nice to meet you,
I'm gonna have to ask Caden. So we were getting spoken to by Hank, the Hell Knight. He talked about Avernus. Is Avernus like they're a demon, or is that like a land, or is it like a god?
Yes,
or what?
It is one of the lower planes where devils live.
Okay, so where devils live. And so, yeah, so first of all, one of the first misses was the Hell Knight, Bal's Furnace, Hell Knight of Avernus, or whatever that is. It means, he said by God. So instantly, that's a knock against, because it should be by demon.
No, there's multiple there's gods in D&D, and there's evil and good and neutral. There's not just like one like messianic.
Stop defending someone you don't even know, Caden. Like, talk about Hank here.
I am with him. There. Hank saying by gods is consistent with D&D law.
Okay, Master of Fun. Very, very, very solid play there.
Yeah.
Also bringing up Vicious Mockery, and I want to shout out Tom Cardy's TikTok song about Vicious Mockery. That is just like absolute banger. So that gets a big boost from me, because Vicious Mockery, I didn't know all that much about it, but like, Tom Cardy putting it into so many words was just like amazing. Big win for Hank. How can your enemy debate you if they're dead? Very, very solid play there. And then also bringing up the Bard is like the meta class. Like, it's the reason for like an outsider to want to play D&D, because they can really mess with like the lore and stuff. They don't have to be so in character, because they're this really meta, I'm fucking with the DM character. That is really cool. Like, that's definitely where I would want to fall into place if I was to play D&D, because I wouldn't be able to monsters. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Steven as a bard would be so fun, dude.
But then a miss. I did see that you said the bard has the invisibility ability, and like ghost riding is frowned upon in like the hip hop world. So you shouldn't be a ghost rider. But then also Hank brought up about the power of friendship, and all I wanted to say is that, so I guess all D&D is just shonen anime. This is all about the power of friendship. So I don't know exactly where I got to there in the points plus minus. Oh man, this is my last point. I got to give it to the Bard simply because, like, I think Chris Pine has been putting in groundwork to be like one of the best Chris's out there in movies. Like he seemed like, you know, he's a pretty boy wanker, but like he just keeps on consistently being funny. And so like he gets my vote. So the Bard gets my vote on this one.
I should have name dropped Chris Pine.
But you have Reggie Jean Paul, is it? He's pretty great as well. Like,
all right. So we got 1 point Bard. Mateo, let's hear your thought.
I am pretty positive that Hank the Hell Knight knows where I live, so I think I've got to give the point to him. But shout out to Bards though, because this hypothetical D&D character I was working on that was this Macho Man Randy Savage analog that was a half bard, half barbarian. It was my favorite concept character I've ever come up with.
I'm sorry you didn't get to play that.
But we'll give it to Hank. I think Hank is terrifying, and I don't want him to kill me.
I know I say this every week. This is a really tough one to judge. This is actually probably the hardest one for me to pick because Ryan came at it with the Bard point of view, fantastic, and then the scholarly like debate format that he brought. I was like, oh my god, this dude's a professional for sure. And then Caden going full role play, bringing Hank out on about a D&D debate. I think just because it is my favorite aspect of D&D, I'm gonna have to go with Caden because the role play was so great.
Yeah. Very nice. It at first I was like, oh my god, am I going to be able to handle 6 minutes of this bullshit? But it was great.
It's just assuming I would lose because bards are just they're the best. Bards are great. You didn't like rest on your laurels or anything, Ryan. Like you had a very, very well argued position with lots of great points.
I had to. The moment you pulled out that actual roleplay, I was like, shit, I haven't actually thought of any gimmick. I've just thought of debate, so I better like pull that out to my best because you were bringing it.
Oh my god. Yeah. That was fantastic. If you would like to vote for who won this debate, you can do that on our Discord on Cast Your Votes. Speaking of which, we had a debate last week, which was Isla Hink representing Silent Hill 2 versus Steven representing Resident Evil 2, both OG, for the all-time classic sequels, spooky sequels, eking it out by 2 points with Stephen Beaumont. Congratulations, sir.
Hometown heroes. Go.
Can't give up on that blocky, sexy himbo.
Which one?
Made out of like 16 blocks.
Yep.
But what blocks?
What
damn,
blocks? There's some saucy blocks.
There's polygons in all the right places.
Oh yeah. And with that, we'll move on to the pitch.
All right, gentlemen, it is now time for the pitch, wherein a handful of us panelists will have 2 minutes to make an elevator pitch on a game they've been playing, and the rest of us will decide if we would buy the game or not based on the elevator pitch without actually knowing what the game is. First up to the pitcher's mound is Mateo.
Mateo, you have 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so there's a game that a buddy of mine and I have been playing this past week, actually. And, you know, it's kind of... There's probably a lot of really easy ways to describe this, but the part of it that we're digging the most is almost this, like classic beat-em-up. We're talking, like, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. You're just smashing dudes. You're just running around and just smashing people. To a degree, sometimes it is actually kind of a hindrance. There was a point in this game where we couldn't complete an objective because the entire enemy's team's bodies were on the ground, and we couldn't get where we needed to go, basically. It's a roguelite. So you get to upgrade yourself as you're going through these various runs. There's abilities that we focused on in particular that make it even more of a beat 'em up than it is naturally. So, any ability that was like enemies knocked down stay down longer, or they fly twice the distance after you hit them, and things like that, we grabbed every single one of those. Completely broke the game. But here's kind of the little twist on it, though. It's a sports game, which, like, I'm not necessarily a sports game kind of dude, but this one is kind of like tickling my brain because it's just got so much like old school charm.
30 seconds.
I guess we can toss out one more detail there. The sport specifically that this game is hockey, which is probably the best game to have kind of this beat 'em up aspect in it. But there's an ability that we got where you just take away the hockey stick from one of your players, and they just run around with fist out, just beating up the enemy team the entire time. Absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite games that I've played recently with the multiplayer.
Wow, yeah. I literally know
Multiplayer, sports, roguelike, beat 'em up.
Beat 'em up.
Yeah.
I feel like you can basically like wrap anything around the core of beat 'em up, and it's like I'm in. So
Yeah.
seems like the kind of game Hank the Paladin.
And everything I know about hockey is the fact that like the fights are the best part of hockey. It's like that makes sense why it's a beat 'em up.
Hold on, real quick. Is hockey a thing in Australia? Like, do you guys play hockey?
Very rarely. Like obviously we have a very good like field hockey Olympic team. But then like we had an ice hockey team nearby me, like about an hour away. But then just like you can't keep an ice rink open if no one's going, and so it just folded after a while. So not really. There's a bit of stuff in Melbourne, but yeah.
Yeah, there's like one ice rink that I know of in Sydney, and it's like in a Westfield, like the big department store. So like, well, actually, it's not a Westfield, but it's a big department store, and like so that survives. I don't know about many others. Ice hockey's not really a thing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know.
So, do you score goals in this game?
Yes, it is traditional hockey, but there's a lot of really goofy stuff that can happen.
I just love the idea of corpses body blocking you, or like bodies body. That's just such a cool, like something that is the most frustrating thing about like a Souls game is getting body blocked, but that sounds hilarious in a sports game.
Dude, we were just shooting over and over, just hitting the enemy team over and over as we're trying to make this goal.
That's pretty damn fun.
Is there any so like my question would be is there any sort of single player, be that a single player campaign or the ability to just play online with randoms by myself?
I'm not sure about with randoms, but yes to the campaign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. Yeah, I'm in. This sounds super weird and fun.
It's can confirm both.
So, what is the game, Mateo?
The game is called Tape to Tape. It is a hockey roguelite that adds in like special abilities. Some of them are game breaking, some of them are dumb. Every time you shoot, you throw your hockey stick, and your hockey stick will knock out people it hits. There's abilities where you can have like 3 hockey sticks on you, so if you get that ability, you just pull another one off your back and keep playing. It's chaotic as hell, but man, if you enjoyed classic hockey games like Blades of Steel, everyone knows the best part of Blades of Steel was the fights. This game is very focused on body checking and knocking opponents down to make goals and plays.
Is there a blacksmith in this game?
There is. That's who you buy your shop upgrades from. I've actually been tempted to put him up for our sister show's nominations right now.
Article by Shaq News. Tape to Tape might be the most important hockey video game since NHL 94.
Wow.
Yeah, this blacksmith looks dope. He's got like the Jason Voorhees hockey match thing going on.
So,
most
I'm feeling the
hockey game in
arcadiness.
30 years.
I'm feeling like, the NBA jamness of it. So are there like, can you do like super moves to like shoot a goal or like
for sure
that sort of
there
stuff? Yeah,
you have like special moves for your 2 main players. You can upgrade other players.
A meter.
I have not seen any meter charges, but you can
Yeah.
charge up slap shots and things like that.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'm in.
Is
This
it-
is really fun.
Where's it available would be my question, because I'm like, I have a lot of friends who are Xbox, and I'm like, if we could play that on Xbox, that'd be...
It is on everything, it looks like. Nintendo, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam.
And did this just come out recently?
It did release in 2023. It was in early access for a while, and I think it just fairly recently got a full release.
And can you just explain the roguelite part of it?
Oh, yeah.
What is that like?
Can I explain the what?
The roguelite part of it.
Oh,
that's
so
confusing in a sports game.
So in between, you have your set matches, right? But in between that, there's different events you go to, and your opponents, your players all have stats, and they start off at this really base level, super low. But the different activities you do will boost your stats. You get upgrades you can unlock through the blacksmith, as Caden said, that will upgrade. They'll unlock new players to have as your secondary. They'll unlock new abilities, new outfits, and customization, I believe. But yeah, it's just like this wandering path with your matches in between it, basically.
Yeah. So it is run based, or like every time you pick it up, are you still there, or are you back at the start?
Run based for sure.
Yeah, right. Wow, interesting.
Very cool. Hades hockey, but yeah, I mean, we all know what the game is now. I don't think we ever got a final answer from anyone. Are you in, Steven?
Man, this is really interesting. Hockey is the one sport I've never played a video game of where I've really liked it because the goal is so small in hockey that it just feels more luck-based than a lot of sports games.
But Steven's real used to a wide goal, if you know.
Exactly. Man, footy, I love a big goal. And plus, the best thing about AFL, to understand AFL, you get 6 points to get it in the goals. And you get a point for missing.
What?
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, there's side goals, so it's 4 posts, and if you go through the middle one, 6 points. If you hit the posts or you go through the side ones, still 1 point. It's so great.
Hey, look at these boomers with their participation trophies. It wasn't us that invented them.
Yeah, so Steven, yes or no?
This sounds so interesting. I'm not a roguelite fan, but this sounds cool. I'm gonna definitely check out how much it costs and yeah, give it a look.
Jonah, yes or no?
I said yeah. I said I was.
All right, Ryan, yes or no?
Yeah, I also affirmed yes. I might wait for a sale, but it's going on the wish list for sure.
Nice. All right, cool. Next up to the pitcher's mound is Ryan himself. John, if you'd like to give him the countdown.
You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right, so as I said, this is a game, I literally knew nothing about it. I bought it in a sale on the store, and it was so good that I almost missed New Year's Eve, like the celebration entirely.
Wow.
I was playing up to 10 minutes before and up to 10 minutes after. What is it? It's kind of got 3 things. The first is it's a puzzle game. It is a lot of escape rooms, but like fun, different escape rooms. Not like necessarily real life escape rooms. They're like sci-fi a little bit, and each of them have like some interesting gimmicks to them. And it's all about solving them and having some fun with them. And so that's good. The second part is it's a visual novel, and it is one of the best stories in a game I have ever played. It is like really fun. It is really trippy. It is if you like a little bit of sci-fi, it's got some of that in there. It is it just it breaks all the rules, and you're sitting there, the twists and turns, you're like, what is happening? But you're having so much fun, and that's what was sort of like kept me playing so much. It's also like, obviously Japanese, but it doesn't have like many of those like really bad, like, icky tropes so much. There's a little bit of it in there, but it's played pretty well, and it works quite well in that. And then the third sort of thing is it's also a little bit of a horror mystery, right? Like there's some creepy stuff going on, and you're trying to figure out like what's happening and trying to solve like. The best way to describe the story is kind of like
30 seconds.
And you're just like trapped, and you're trying to figure out how to get out and what's going on. And it also like does some really great stuff. So the one I'm talking about is the second, but it's trilogy. The first game does some great stuff with like what it means to play the game on the platform. and the second game does some stuff with like branching narratives in some really interesting ways. Phenomenal stories, really fun games to play. A series I would wholeheartedly recommend. Maybe not so much the last game, but overall, amazing.
Very nice.
Hell yeah.
No questions for me. It's like Saw-inspired sci-fi horror mystery with just a tasteful sprinkling of Japanese ickiness. Oh, I'm sold. What do you guys think?
I started playing this game, and I can't. Like, it's just one of those things where I sometimes just I'm not in the mood to play a certain game, and I'm just checking it out because I'm pretty sure this is on Game Pass still. Maybe not, but I think it is. Because that's where I checked it out, and it was I enjoyed the start of it, and it's got a lot of stuff like Escape Academy and stuff, and I definitely would like to delve more into it for sure. So I definitely want to get this. Probably I want to get it on Switch though, just so it's like just do a little puzzle, pick up and play.
I think I might know what it is, but I don't know. It's super interesting. I want to check it out, but oh man,
Do you have Game Pass already?
How smooth is your brain feeling?
Oh yeah, this is like anti-Jonah material.
I didn't mention, but I do feel like there is a decent hint system in the later games that can help, like if you are getting real smooth brained, because I sometimes am like that as well.
Okay.
So I'm somebody that would advocate there's no shame in using walkthroughs and stuff if you're wanting an experience in a game like this, right? Like if you're just coming and playing for the story, like don't let people judge you. Don't let people say your experience is lesser because you're like solving it with walkthroughs. Like, do your thing.
Well, now that I feel safe and comforted, I'm gonna say yes. I'll bite.
All right, that just leaves Mateo.
I think visual novels aren't really my thing normally. I say that, but one of my favorite games of all time is Doki Doki Literature Club, and you're talk about a mix of a visual novel and horror tropes and a mystery and all that stuff. I might be in. Game Pass probably makes it a yes. Like if it's on Game Pass, like it's
Mateo
probably a
will
yes.
do it
But
together.
we can do that. I'm down for that.
Put each of the hemispheres of your brains together.
By our powers combined.
Yeah, you push them both together. There's one fold.
There's one fold.
All right, what is this game? I'm so curious.
So, the one I'm talking about is specifically the second one in the series, but it's the Zero Escape series.
Oh, yeah.
And the game is, the second one is Virtue's Last Reward. But I would recommend playing them all. I played them on DS and 3DS, and, like, there's trade-offs, depending on it. Like, Switch would be great, but, like, especially the first one, if you can track down an original copy, or, if you buy an original copy and then emulate it, there's some quality of life stuff in the other ports, but there's some stuff in that first game that really was built around being on a DS that just, like, I don't think I've experienced, like, as cool a moment in games as I have with some of the stuff in the ending of that game where it reveals, like, what's going on, and I'm like, oh shit! And the second game has a lot of that stuff, but the second and third games can be played on any console. They weren't sort of like as designed for DS, but like top 10 games of all time, easily that trilogy. Like not the third one kind of drops the ball, but it's like interesting in the ways it fails, and it's like still worth a play. And then the guy also made, if you're looking for something else, the AI, the Somnium 5 series.
That's more recent.
Like, that's him. That's his more recent stuff. They're also really good. The first one of that is excellent. The second one is very good. What's his name? Kotaku Uchikoshi, I think. Like, highly recommend any of his work.
That's cool, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, Brendan from the Discord shouts out the AI Somnium 5. So
I had heard of these games, but I somehow just had missed this whole time that they had like an escape room element to them, which makes
because they're also called. Some people call them the nonary games. Is that right?
Yeah,
like 999 and
so
stuff.
They released the first two games are released as one package on Steam and modern consoles called the Nonary games. And that's like the enhanced port of the first game, which has like full voice acting and line art rather than sprite work for the characters. And also the ability to sort of like replay easier. That's like the biggest mark against when you're playing the original DS version is it's a game you have to play through multiple times, kind of like a Nier Automata.
Yeah.
But all you get to do is you get to fast forward the dialogue really fast.
Oh, okay.
On that
Because you
one,
know what's going on. You know the answer to this puzzle. Yeah.
And it fast forwards really fast, but it takes some time. And the port has added an option where it's like, all right, jump to where the paths split, sort of thing, which comes from the second and third game. And they've put that back in, so it's good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's like probably one of the best things about the end, like to get like the last ending of Nier Automata. It literally says you played this part. Here's the final decision, and that's like a really cool addition. I do like that.
Hey, very neat. Shout out to the Nonary Games. Next up to the pitcher's mound, Steven.
You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right. I just finished Jedi Survivor, and I enjoyed that game, but it didn't wow me as much as a lot of Star Wars fans get wowed by anything with a lightsaber. So for me, I just wanted something, and I've got every system, and I'm just like, oh, buy this, or I'm on this subscription. Oh, what's that game for me? I booted up my Xbox actually, and man, I am playing the game of the year right now.
Yo.
This is a Souls-like, and it may be a perfect video game. I need to look back at my top 10. I need to make some hard decisions because it's got to jump very high.
Well, when did they port Bloodborne to Xbox?
And so yeah, man, like 10 out of 10 bosses, 10 out of 10, your dark fantasies, music off tilt in your boss fights, just so just amazing choice. And I went there just to get into some amazing boss fights, and I got that in spades. I don't know why people aren't talking about this. This is literally game of the year. Like, I'm sorry to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm sorry to RE4 remake, and I'm sorry to Baldur's Gate 3. But like, why aren't people talking about this game more? It's crazy. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right, leave it 10 seconds.
You said the magic words.
So I thought I knew what he's talking about, but I think he's being cheeky as all hell. So
I've never been known to do
Or
this.
this must be a game that came out this year if it's game of the year. So, I mean, I don't know if this is a bit. I don't know if this is Liza P. I don't know if it's some other Souls-like I don't know about. But if it's a Souls-like, with 10 out of 10 bosses, and Steven's saying it's the game of the year.
I mean, I really wasn't expecting Steven to connect to Liza P that much, but I mean, maybe he's just a big Pinocchio head.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Maybe he's being a little liar right now.
That, or the thing is, like, he's gone back and he's just like played Hollow Knight on Game Pass, and he's like, oh, why are people not talking about this anymore? Like, there's a sequel coming out soon, hopefully. Like,
What do you know that we don't know?
Well, it's coming out eventually. It's the soon that is, Gotta rep our Australian devs. Best game
coming
of all
out
time.
Soon.
Best thing to come out of Adelaide since Hilltop Hoods.
All right. I'll bite.
Recently initiated into Elden Ring.
If it's Liza P's, I'll definitely bite, because that is already on my list. But if not, I'll probably also bite. It sounds great.
All right, Mateo.
I'd probably buy it and get frustrated at it, and not,
we'll get frustrated
finish it,
together.
but still enjoy it.
That's bullshit. Uninstall. Steven, what have we bought?
Man, I've been digging in again to some Elden Ring. It's just, man, this is a game of all time. And I say that it's the GOTY for this year because, my God, it's just so good to revisit. It's, what a game. And that's the thing, especially coming off of, a pretender to the crown, Jedi Survivor. almost pseudo Souls like fashion.
Yeah.
You're just like, this isn't.
And it's just like getting my ass handed to me by anything, and I'm just like went straight like I got all of the map chunks that I could like without beating a single boss. I got all the way up to the capital without beating a boss, all through Caelid, everything. Everything's like cleared that I can, and like just go get Guts' sword and just been going around just slapping everything. I finally, after 10 hours of playtime, I went, I'll go give Margaret a slap. And like it took me a couple of deaths because I just wanted to do it one way, which was like determination and then freaking 3-hitting Margaret with Guts' great sword. Like it was just pretty tasty.
This is dangerous. This is so dangerous for me, Steven, because you're like, I'm like one click away from just like uninstalling all the games I've been playing right now, like buy Baldur's Gate 3 and just reinstalling Elden Ring. Like that game, like I recently also started a replay that I abandoned of Bloodborne, and doing that, I feel like I can now like very confidently, unequivocally say Elden Ring is the best. Like, oh man, that freaking game, dude.
That's the worst thing because I'm like, man, I've got Starfield downloaded on my Xbox and I'm playing Elden Ring on my Xbox, and like, I'm wanting to get Baldur's Gate 3 on my PlayStation, but like we just got this nice little comfy, rotating like 1.5 seater couch in this new room. And it's just so comfy to sit there and just, as I said, just get my ass handed to me. And Elden Ring, just,
What are you saying, Jonah?
I just side tangent while we're in the pitch. Have you checked out Lies of P yet? I want to get from
I have not.
The Souls Master himself.
I think I've downloaded it. I can't remember because it's just one of those
how
things.
Much it's killing me. Like, I'm just like, I need to make myself finish Baldur's Gate 3 before starting. Like, I've already beaten 3 other games in the middle of my Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. Like, I need to just finish. Like,
Baldur's Gate 3 is so beefy though, dude. You're talking like
I've already put 90 hours into it, and I'm not beating it.
Yeah, you're a
are you in Act 3 yet, or are you still in like
I
Act 1?
started Act 2. Yeah.
You've got another 200 to 300 hours to go, dude.
Yeah. I feel like I've been blitzing through it because I'm in Act 3 and I'm only at like.
I'm just one of those players that just
like...
has to do everything, you know. But,
I accidentally blitzed through Act 2 because I was like, "Oh, what's this little side quest?" Oh no, I've started the end game of Act 2.
Yeah.
Like,
even though we haven't played it, Jonah, the one thing we have to give like BG3 like Goaty props for is that it has like a cabbage merchant character.
Also,
like,
it actually
not my cabbages like that.
That cabbage.
I think the other thing you have to give it, Steven, is that it came out this year on like the Elden Ring pitch.
That good.
2023 Game of the Year, Super Mario World, Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
well, look,
good game. I'd always put.
We could still get the DLC. Maybe Shadow drop at the Game Awards, and then it is Game of the Year.
Could you imagine if they shadow drop the Elden Ring DLC at the Game Awards?
There's no way.
I think we'll get like a release day trailer at the Game Awards, and it'll be 2024.
You just see everyone pull out their Steam Decks and immediately download it there.
Where are you all going? Wait, we have plenty of great announcements for the rest of the show. No,
we've got Vin Diesel. Stay for Vin.
Yeah. I think there's no way that the Elden Ring DLC next year is just better than literally any other whole game. And it's just like
but that's the thing. Like the amount of times we said like, "Oh, Limgrave is like a game," and it is. Like Limgrave and Weeping Peninsula is like a normal video game experience, and it's like, and I just love riding around in that world. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure we've talked for like 20 minutes about Elden Ring, so we should probably move on. So, let's turn things over to Steven for the game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is time for a game. And we're bringing back release dates. I haven't thought of a title for this. I can't remember if I had a title for this, but we'll just
call
go
it release
roll
date
with it.
rollout. I like that.
Release date rollout. Ooh, Ooh,
That's pretty good.
Autobots. I don't know if Hasbro might be onto me about that, so just watch out. So the simple answer, the simple thing of the game is, tell me when a game was released. Get a bonus point if you can nail that date, the day. So we've got day, month, and year. So, and we'll pass it around so that it's just easier because we're on Discord rather than just shouting it out. So I'll start with Jonah, Mateo, Ryan, Caden will be the order. It's just because I've squished my screen so I can see the other things. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Cool. Alright, awesome. So, without further ado, let's start with another GOTY contender. We've got Bloodborne. Jonah, when did Bloodborne come out?
Oh, when did Bloodborne come out? It was 20...
You had the Millennium, right? So they're well done.
2016. No?
Mateo.
2015.
Ooh, that's a point for Mateo. Can you guess the date?
I want to say it was a winter release. I'm going to say... let's go November 3rd.
No. Let's go to Ryan. Can you guess the month?
See, I was thinking the opposite end of the year. I was thinking, is it like March 30th sort of thing?
Oh, that's another point. It is a March. And can Caden, the ultimate Soul's door,
Oh, man.
get the day?
How about March 13th?
Nice.
Ooh,
Start on the
it
board.
was obviously the most bloody day of the year, the day that the hunt starts, which is the 24th of March,
Oh,
2015. Of course, like it's when the hunt starts.
I celebrate that holiday every year. Night of the hunt.
Get my purge mask on. Go hunting.
All right, this. I'm just gonna roll straight into it. This one may be a little bit of a leading one. Mateo with The Witcher 3.
Ooh. 2014.
Bam. Ryan.
Oh gosh, it's so hard because like the DLC, it's had such a long lifespan. I'm thinking it's one on either side of that. Was it 2015?
It is also 2015.
Because that was the year where I'm like pulling my hair out, like, oh my god, is Bloodborne or Witcher 3 my goatee, you know?
Yeah.
And like, let's go July 17.
Wow.
I don't know.
Ooh. That is a no. Let's go with Caden.
Is it in September, perhaps?
Bam. And we got Jonah.
I want to say it was like May?
Ooh, that's a point for Jonah.
And we'll go
Spring
21st.
18. Very close.
That was 3 days
Loving
off.
it. Okay.
Wow, those games are close, huh?
I love putting this one in there because it's dumb. Ryan, NBA 2K23.
Oh no, that's a trick question.
Okay, yeah. So this is the trick because it's 22, right?
Yeah, that's the trick. So yeah, got 1 point there.
I can never remember how early it is. Does it
know.
release at the start of the year or the end of the year? I know the not FIFA recently released. So like, let's say, September 2022.
Yes, that's 2 points.
Wow.
Ryan's
And then let's say I can try puzzle out a date, right? Like, it probably wouldn't release the same weekend as not FIFA, and that released this weekend, so earlier. Like the 12th.
Ooh, so close. No.
Uh-oh. So close, hey. How about
Caden?
the 13th?
This is. What do you think this is? Price is Right. Jonah.
The 10th.
And Mateo.
8th.
Bang!
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow.
That's our first date. There will be one where someone has to get the date. If you don't get the date, you'll lose your virgin.
You lose all your
video game
points.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a game of card. I'm a fake
All
game
right.
guy anyway.
If you get all 3, you just win the game.
Right.
All right, Caden. All right, we're gonna go with a big love for Jonah. This is Titanfall 2, baby.
Oh man.
Ooh. I can tell you what killed it.
Yeah, the release near
What
it.
generation was this? This was on PS4, right?
Mm-hmm.
2017.
No.
Yeah, I
Jonah.
have no idea.
It's I believe it's November 2016, and it was.
You got 1 point. So no.
Oh,
You're
it
wrong.
wasn't November. Oh no, it's October. Fuck. It.
Okay. Oh, well, can you guess the month, Mateo?
I'm gonna guess October 13th.
Ooh, it was October. Can you guess the day, Ryan?
I mean, I can guess the day being a week before or after the other Battlefield game, but that doesn't actually help me with the number.
It was actually
let's
2
go-
days.
Oh, really?
2 days.
Gosh, let's go
That's
the
nuts.
7th.
28th.
Man.
Right at the end of October.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's correct. 2 days. That's nuts. Like,
Yeah, it
what-
was.
like,
It
yeah.
was 2 days after Call of Duty and 2 days before Battlefield 1. It was fucked up. Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Let's go over to Jonah. His special interest. God. This is just a meme at this point. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare
Oh.
original release.
Oh wow.
They always release in October, so I know that. It was.
Didn't know that.
I'm gonna say 2008. No.
No points there. Mateo.
2007,
Yeah, that's our year.
and they always release in October. I know this one.
No, they
Oh,
don't.
it didn't.
Oh,
Oh.
Right.
Was this one? I feel like this one was earlier because it was before it hit the big mega October release. So it's September.
No. Okay.
Must have been delayed to November.
It was delayed to November.
nice.
Let's go. What day is it?
It came out on my birthday. I remember it like it was yesterday, which was November 22nd, right?
No.
Oh,
Happy
dang.
birthday. All right.
I got 8 point, guys.
All right. I had to save this one for Mateo, but I'm gonna have to save the smooth brain one for Caden because at the moment, yeah, you look like
This
you're
isn't-
behind. So
I don't remember.
you
things
get
like
the smooth
this.
brain one at the end of this
Yeah.
as the last question.
I always skip a beat and start sweating when my wife like asks me what like our anniversary is, and then like I have to work really hard to remember it. You know.
It released the same day as this game. I remember because I couldn't play it because we had to go out for dinner. Mateo, when did Breath of the Wild release?
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I thought this would be the hardest one for Mateo, seeing as
It
he's
is.
not-
It is the hardest one because I'm not a Zelda dude.
I know this one exactly.
I'm not sure on the day, but yeah.
2013.
Oh my god!
Wow.
No, the Switch.
the Switch.
Like we wish the Switch came out back in 2013.
Instead of the Wii U.
Yeah. And Ryan.
Oh, right. So it's 2017. It's March,
2017?
and I believe because I get this wrong because I remember this was. Indulge me a tiny story. This was the first, like, I was back up at uni. I'd stopped my break, and it was the first week back, but it was O week, and it had leaked early, and I had a copy that I put 50 hours into before it even started because it was O week and I had nothing to do. And I think semester started then on the release day, which was the 3rd? of
It
March.
was the 3rd.
Yeah.
Man, that almost gets a bonus
Sweet.
point.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Goes
on the
game,
money.
So.
Yeah, that's
know,
one date that I know.
I know Caden and I both
definitely.
know it because we were there on the midnight release.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Got the
Oh,
Wow.
Wii copy.
Yeah, I just
For
went with the
Switch.
Wii U version because I had a Wii U and I
Nice.
couldn't afford a Switch yet.
Yeah.
And that's also
Yeah, same.
how it was
Same. I was on the
so,
Wii U
yeah.
version too.
I
Which,
didn't even
like,
realize it.
the-
I didn't know
the-
it came
the-
out on the Wii U.
The gyro on the tablet was nowhere near as strong as on the Switch, so you literally have to flip your Wii U gamepad to like do the golf mini games and stuff.
It's also the other thing that's very funny to see how far they moved away from making it a Wii U focused game, even though it initially was you can name your horse, and when you name your horse and you select the thing, it doesn't come up with the regular Wii U touchpad.
Oh,
and
really?
You have to use the joystick
Yeah,
to
yeah.
everything to do it because they were
Completely
like,
forgot
we
about
are
that.
ripping
Wow.
out everything related to the Wii U for it, and it is just
I wish we
more
could've seen
of a
that
Switch
version.
game now.
Yeah. All right. So Ryan, you get the second last one. We're gonna go with second highest rated game of all time, Grand Theft Auto
Okay.
4.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Literally have no idea.
So it's PS3 generation. It's a little bit in. My mind's saying 08.
Bang. Oh wait.
Nice.
Damn.
It's also saying. It's saying September, but then I'm like, it would have been the Q4 that they would have held it for. No, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say September.
No. Caden.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm gonna randomly guess December.
No. Jonah.
November?
No. Mateo.
March.
Ooh. So close. It was April 4.
Ooh.
April 29th, sorry. I was looking at the 4 of GTA 4. April 29th, 2008. It was early.
Even
Never.
Would have gotten it wrong even with my cheeky answer. I was gonna say Q1.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this actually makes sense because it's
Is that
like,
not
what was-
Q1? Oh no, because 3 months. Oh my god, my maths.
What's the thing of like GTA 6 is leaked that they're like doing it based on like they want it at the start of that next fiscal year, so it will be like after April or something. So yeah, that makes sense. They're consistent with their strategy.
Okay, and then for our final smooth brain dummy boy question for Caden, when did Skyrim release?
Oh my god. That was 2000.
Can't get this wrong.
Oh, wait.
It's literally on the poster.
I know. It's 11/11/11, right?
Yes.
But why does,
I was like, come on, dude.
why is 11 still too early for that? I mean, too
But
late for that game.
what does 11/11/11 mean?
It means November 11th, 2011.
Yay! Got some points.
It's
I
the
don't know,
perfect date
2011
because
seems
us
so late.
Australians can't get it wrong either. We can't read that.
Yeah,
backwards. We get the
Yeah,
different date.
there's no way to get it wrong.
Yeah, that was like, just about 2 weeks before my birthday that year, so that was a good birthday.
Damn, that's a good birthday.
I went to that midnight release
Hell yeah.
with a wooden
Hell
sword.
yeah.
That was
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
No offense,
Same.
no offense to Skyward Sword, but you got fucking outplayed.
Came out that
Oh.
year.
So hard.
Yeah.
That game.
Yeah.
I thought Skyward Sword was 2010. Was that 2011?
It was 11/11 because
It was very close too, because I know that I didn't pick it up. It was either the start of
That means that's
2012
the year I
or
got
right
a
at the
Wii.
end of 2011. But didn't pick my pre-order up with the gold Wiimote because I was just like hundreds of hours of Skyrim, like just
Yeah.
chewing.
The other game that I was wondering if it would come up was Caden was joking about his birthday. I could tell you the specific day and date for Super Mario Galaxy 2 because that's my sister's birthday. And for a
Nice.
few years, even after it released, I just had the joke of calling her and wishing her happy Super Mario Galaxy 2 release.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey is my birthday, so that's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
good one.
Resident Evil 2
and
remake
yeah,
came
so-
out on my birthday.
Yo.
Hey, nice.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
so
was
without
my
any
first
surprises, Ryan swept this with
Oh my god, Ryan.
an insane amount of points, something like 8 points. So,
Yeah.
well done,
I
Ryan.
got
You
one.
have an eidetic memory for video games.
I had to make up for the debate. I took
There
it
wasn't
over
anything
there,
to
I was
make up
determined
for.
here.
Strong finish.
Such-
I didn't bring it up, but when you did say at the end, you said I passed it over to Mateo to finish me off. I was like, Okay.
I was trying.
We're just gonna roll with that. We're just gonna
Oh no.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
That was
oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Circle
Those
jerk.
dulcet tones, you get that baritone hum. That's
Yeah.
that's a good finishing.
Yeah, no lie, that threw me off a little bit when I was starting up.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, we made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. It's time for final thoughts. As our guest, Ryan, I'll give you the floor for final thoughts. It could be literally anything you want to talk about, shamelessly plug, just whatever's on your mind.
Yeah, no, like I just want to like the thing I would plug is this podcast, right? Like I've done a lot of research. I've listened to some pretty crap ones, right? And I know like this is not like the biggest podcast out there, but genuinely every time I've chatted with any of you, it's just been like so fun and like easy. And I'm not active much in Discord because a lot of channels anxiety inducing,
yeah.
but like it's great. Like I really love the concept you've got going here. Plugging in terms of me, you can follow me at Ranting Stant on Twitter or Blue Sky. I'm also on, though I don't use. I'm mostly a lurker. Don't expect many posts, but like yeah. That's that. Oh, and final plug of is Kataru Uchikoshi. Any of his games, The Zero Escape or The Somnium Fires, like genuinely pick them up. You won't be disappointed. Top tier.
All right, Steven, final thoughts.
One that no one mentioned, but I just want to say that like Ryan may be the Australian surrogate of Zach Pearson. Like,
Yeah.
they are like
my
identical.
Absolutely.
But
We gotta send you a picture of Zach, Ryan. Like, you guys are doppelgangers.
I've watched. He's on the
He's on
Guidance.
the-
right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then also just like, every time that Caden says final thoughts, I call them final girls in my horror movies, not final thoughts. So I want to shout out the Fear Street trilogy. Man, that was so fun.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good, dude. It's based on Goosebumps too. Like it's
the fact that it was from R.L. Stein, like it's just like,
all right.
how is this so damn good? And it's like banger after banger after banger. And like the third one, you think, oh man, we're treading into like Back to the Future 3 area, but the acting is like real solid when they do a Back to the Future 3 bit. Fantastic films.
All right, Jonah, final thoughts.
Oh, final thoughts. Ryan, thank you.
Final girls. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. My final girl, Ryan, thank you for being my final girl today. It was fantastic.
I'm delighted.
We got to do an interview with Ryan. It was super awesome. Steven and I, we chatted for what, like an hour and a half, 2 hours with you?
Yeah, I think it was close to 2 hours. It was really good. I was like bouncing some of my ideas for my thesis off you. Like, this is what I'm writing about, like Patreon. What are your thoughts on it? And you were like, like it was really good.
It was a super fun conversation with him. I wish you had it recorded because I want people to like hear it. I want to hear like other conversations you've had, but it was super awesome having you. Thank you for coming onto the show today. You killed it on the debate. Freaking awesome. And
happy to be here. If you're ever lacking for guests, hit me up. I'm more than happy to do it again.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I just want to say thank you to all of our friends out there listening to the show. Please share it. Give us a like if you enjoyed it, but our biggest thing is please share the show. We just want to get in more people's ears.
Reviews on podcast platforms help in that regard if you're listening there, not on video.
We need to have this guy around to just promote our stuff.
New PR person. All right, Mateo, why don't you finish this?
Finish this off, Mateo.
I don't really have anything
to right, Mateo. Come on.
I don't really have anything to shout out except for Dr. Loomis from the Halloween series. I tell you what, in the first Halloween movie, Loomis runs straight into the house. He immediately starts blasting. He empties his entire revolver into Michael Myers.
He knows
and you know
what's
what?
up.
Shout out to him. He knew what he was doing. The world's best psychologist.
I just finished.
Also, having Malcolm McDowell on the Rob Zombie like remakes is like so awesome because of like A Clockwork Orange, and then you're having him as a psychologist. It's like this whole like so meta. It's so good.
Oh dear. I guess my final thoughts are it's Halloween season, baby.
Spooky season.
Let's go. Finna watch Nightmare Before Christmas. That's what I'm talking about. And,
I got something for people to check out.
Go for it.
He can jack my skeleton any day.
There's an Australian YouTuber called Indie Mouse. He does a thing every year called Shocktober, and he plays spooky games. Some of the funniest videos I've ever watched. He's done a playthrough of all of the Resident Evil games, all of the Dead Space games.
Nice.
A bunch of really well-known horror games, like super indie stuff, and then he does a lot of roguelite playthroughs, Soulsborne playthroughs, but his videos are hilarious. He has this thing that's ongoing bit called cursed elevators, and so if he gets into an elevator that doesn't work properly for whatever reason, he's got a counter that goes up for all the games that he's played. And it's super fun, so you should check out Indie Mouse.
That's great.
Watch his Resident Evil 2 and Silent Hill 2 videos. Bring the thing from last week forward.
They're so
excellent
funny.
pairing. All right, well, I've been your host as always, Caden Bear Lane, and thank you all for watching and listening. Happy gaming. Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN 719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.
All right, I'm ready now. Steven, sit the fuck down.
You should put that as the after credits. All right, I shall start momentarily.